Greetings, Artful Manifestors. Thank you for joining me today for this timeless pick a card tarot reading. Whenever you come across this reading, that's when you're meant to hear it, no matter how long it's been since I posted it. To choose your reading, you're going to choose from one of the crystals I'm going to introduce or one of these cards that I'm about to reveal. And then go to the description box below, click on the more. The word more will be clickable, and that will open up the description box, and there you will find a link to all the readings as well as a link to the cards that I use in this tarot reading. All right, for reading number 1, we have Pyrite, and for reading number 2, we have Pink Tourmaline, and for reading number 3, we have Yellow Citrine. If you hear little pitter patters, those are the dogs moving around this morning. All right, let's look at the cards. For reading number 1, this is the image. It's Lily. And for reading number 2, this is the image. It's nasturtium, I believe is how you say it. I'll look it up before reading 2. And for reading number 3, this is the image. False indigo. Indigo has been coming up a lot lately. All right. Let your inner wisdom, your intuition guide you. Whichever crystal or flower you're most drawn to is most likely the reading meant for you. Of course, if you're drawn to more than one, then you're welcome to listen to more than one, as there may be additional guidance for you there. Enjoy your reading. Hello, reading number 1. You chose Pyrite. And Pyrite is metallic, shiny, has a golden color. So it forms an energetic barrier that deflects negative influences, psychic attacks. Many traditions view it as a guardian stone. It's like a golden mirror that reflects harmful energy back to its source. Its fiery golden essence connects to the solar plexus, awakening, confidence, willpower, and the life force energy needed to take inspired action. It strengthens resolve and bolsters stamina, both spiritually and physically. Its other name is Fool's Gold, and it's known as a magnet for wealth and prosperity. And of course, it doesn't mean that you are a fool. It just comes from during the gold rush, when people were looking for gold and sometimes found little nuggets of pyrite, they were fooled into thinking that it was gold. But pyrite teaches alignment with abundance. It encourages you to not just wish, but to take concrete steps to bring visions into reality. And pyrite's reflective surface symbolizes truth revealed. It helps cut through illusion, self-doubt, and confusion, bringing sharper awareness of what serves and what hinders. And so often we talk about divine feminine because we live on a planet that is divine feminine. So many of the crystals are that come from her are considered to be connected to the divine feminine, but Pyrite is masculine balance and solar energy. It harmonizes the divine masculine, assertiveness, courage, action, balanced. It's not domination, but in clear direction and strength of spirit. And Lily is connected to feminine mysteries and divine mother energy. Lilies are long associated with the goddesses, virgin archetypes, and the womb of creation. So the essence supports healing of the feminine and awakening a holy reverence for the body, restoring dignity. Lily essence washes the aura with a sense of cleansing light, helping to release shame, heaviness, or energies that dim self-worth. It restores one to a state of inner purity and alignment with the soul's original radiance. It harmonizes the earthly self with the spiritual self, grounding divine qualities into daily life. This makes Lily Essence especially supportive for those who feel a split between their sacred calling and their human responsibilities. And it brings clarity of heart and mind. Lilies rise from murky water into an immaculate bloom. This essence lifts consciousness above confusion, guiding toward clarity, moral integrity, and soul truth. Lilies are often present at both funerals and weddings. They are thresholds of endings and beginnings, or rather symbolic of those. They are the essence of lilies helps the soul navigate cycles of loss and renewal, death and rebirth, teaching that endings can be doorways to divine light. And what my guides are telling me is that you have experienced such a thing and may be in that liminal space now. And with the energy of Lily, you're giving birth to something new. And with the masculine energy, divine masculine energy of Pyrite, you're going to be able to follow through with steps, taking action to nurture whatever seed you plant. So let's consult the tarot, see what else we can find out about what's happening. All right. All right, we have the Magician. The Ace of Wands. and the devil. All right. All right. It's very interesting because we're talking about divine masculine, and here we have two males. Now, remember, it does not matter if you are male or female, we all have masculine and feminine energies within us. And what my guides are telling me is that there is a masculine wound or a father wound. Now, you may have had a wonderful father. Perhaps your mother had too much masculine energy. But the negative aspects of that. Remember, we all have masculine and feminine energy. So if your mother was very domineering and critical, judgmental, forceful, controlling, that would be too much of the negative aspect of masculine energy. Masculine and feminine energy is on a spectrum. Now, it could also be from the father. A father wound could also be the absence of a father. Either your father left at a very young age, whether he passed or just wasn't part of your life, or maybe he was very passive. And interestingly enough, even though we see two males, all of the bees that are in these images are female. Only drones are males. The queen bee and all the worker bees that forage and take care of the developing bees, make honey, all of those bees are female. There are very few male bees and their lives are short. All right. So the magician is the channel between heaven and earth, right? This is the one who draws down energy from above and directs it through his hands, through his tools, through his intentions into form. This is exactly the energy that we're asking about, nurturing your womb of creation so that something new can be born. Now, you don't have to be a woman to have this type of energetic womb. This is the cauldron where dreams, ideas, and visions gestate. So to nurture it means honoring it as sacred through rest, through ceremony, herbal allies, gentle movement, listening deeply, journaling, meditating, asking the question, what longs to be born through me? And feeding it life force, nourishing foods. Think of your sacral chakra, which we all have, whether we're men or women. Feeding that chakra, nourishing foods, breath work, sounds, sensual experiences, meaning things that use the senses, smell, texture, color, all of these things awaken the vitality of the sacral chakra. The magician says, you already have all the tools you need. all the tools you need to do your work, to do your creation. Focus, direct your intention as the magician would point a wand. And it's funny that the very next card here is a wand. Or a finger, name what you are calling forth. What is it that you want to create? And then just become a channel. Allow spirit to move through you, not just from you, but through you. Spirit enters through the crown, and then you channel it through your hands, through your body, through your voice, whether you're speaking or writing or playing a guitar or singing or dancing or painting, cooking, whatever creative act it is channeling the divine. And then using your tools, write that first page, plant that first seed, record the first word of your song, sketch the first few lines of your artwork. I feel that many of you, with the male here and talking about healing this masculine, the divine masculine, that many of you are good at starting projects. You have lots of ideas, but it's completing them or following through with action that needs a little bit of nurturing and cultivating. So the Ace of Wands, this is that pure primal fire, the spark of life force, passion, and masculine creative drive, where the womb, the feminine, receives, holds, and gestates. The wand ignites, directs, and pushes life outward into form. This is the perfect card for the question that we're asking. And together, they form the sacred dance, because ultimately you need both the feminine and the masculine to create. But to cultivate what you birth, because I feel like birthing the ideas and starting the projects is very easy for you. To cultivate what you birth with clear direction and action, your divine masculine energy must feel both honored and disciplined. So remember, it's on a spectrum. So we don't do that through harsh words, harsh discipline, criticism, but sacred devotion. Claim desire without hesitation. The Ace of Wands is unfiltered passion. It asks, what excites you right now? What makes your body buzz with aliveness? And let that guide your action. We can even think of it as a divinationary tool. Like when people divine for water, except you're divining the flow of energy, not just water, but the flow of energy. So what excites you most, and following that current of excitement rather than being too logical and saying, well, I have to do this first and then this. It's almost like you're like someone who would punish themselves, and maybe they hate peas, but they feel like, well, I'm going to eat all the peas first before I eat the mashed potatoes, which I really love. and then the meatloaf, which is my favorite. It's like suffering through something, some task, before you allow yourself to do this other task. And while it seems logical to you, what Spirit is guiding you to do is to marry the masculine and feminine. And feminine is open and receptive and more divinatory, right? So it's like tapping into what your feminine energy is telling you feels right, and then following through with the masculine. This message goes beyond just starting a project and taking steps. It's all the little things on the way through. So the way to keep the momentum going and the energy flowing is by using the excitement and the intuition of the feminine that taps into, this is where the energy is flowing right now, do this part of the project, and then letting the masculine energy follow through with that project. So remember, it takes both masculine and feminine to create. It's the union of both, rather than looking at it as, all right, the feminine gave birth and now the masculine has to protect and care for this project. It's using both energies the whole way through. And with that, if you follow the excitement, then it's easy to, like a wand, focus your energy, directing it towards a clear target. And everything's going to feel so much more exciting instead of begrudging. Like, you won't have to force yourself. Like, I'm showing somebody with like a whip, like, do this, like whipping you into shape. Like, you won't have to force yourself to do the task because you're following the excitement. It's like you have this project. Let's just say you're a musician and you have to record all the instruments. And usually you record the drums first, and then you record the bass, and then you record the guitar, and then you do the voice last. But maybe what you're most excited about is the bass. And so record the bass first, even if that doesn't make sense. It's that kind of thing where if you do something and you feel any kind of heaviness or resistance, that's the universe telling you, don't do that one first. And it could be that you record the drums first because that seems the most logical, and that's what everybody in the industry does, and that's what you've always done. And then you record the bass, and in recording the bass, you realize that you want to play the bass differently, and then you have to go back and re-record the drums. It's that kind of thing. So following your creative flow is actually going to save you time, and it's going to feel lighter and more exciting, and you're more likely to complete the project because you're not going to get burnt out by forcing yourself to do things when it's not going with the current of the creative flow. And the devil is, it may seem like, oh, how did we end on the devil? Well, because the question is, what are you going to heal and restore in your life by following this union of masculine and feminine energy every step of the way of your creative projects? And it's showing you the very chains that will be burned away. The devil are it's the beliefs, right? Of, oh, I got to eat my peas first. It's that punishment belief, right? You're liberating yourself from that. And what if you look at each meal as, okay, I have meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and peas on my plate. What does my body crave most at this time? And maybe it is the mashed potatoes, or maybe it's the meatloaf. And it just so happens that one of those things, whatever it is that you're most craving at that time, holds the nutrients that your body is lacking. And so eating your food that way, approaching your projects that way, instead of punishing yourself and doing these things that feel like obligations first, even if it doesn't seem logical. The universe is co-creating with you and wants you to succeed. So the devil represents the illusions that keep us small, fears, scarcity thinking, toxic dynamics. So by stepping into the Magician and the Ace of Wands energy combined, you dissolve the belief that you are powerless, or that you have to adhere to some structure that doesn't serve you. You stop feeding what's draining you, and you let go of shame. Because remember, the negative aspect of masculine energy is that judgmental, critical voice. So by allowing yourself to follow things this way, you're going to accomplish more and faster, and you're going to enjoy it, which is going to give your mind, body, the proof that doing it that way allows you to reach your goals and achieve what you want to achieve quicker. You're going to be more productive, which is going to silence that voice. And it's not a bad voice. It's trying to help you. It helped you. It has been trying to protect you in its own way, but it's time to retire it and embody a new energy. And also I see less attachment to external approval or external expectations, or even false beliefs of expectations or authorities. By taking up your wand and pulling back that power into your own being. Wow, I see this being very liberating, and at the same time very creative and productive, but not in a way that feels heavy, quite the opposite, in a way that feels very empowered and sovereign and exciting. Reading number 1, please let me know what you think. I'd love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 2. You chose the pink Tourmaline. And it is a gentle ally of the heart. Where black tourmaline grounds and protects, pink tourmaline heals and softens, drawing you into the sanctuary of love. It's a crystal that restores tenderness, safety, and joy to the emotional body. It dissolves old wounds of the heart, whether it's grief, betrayal, or abandonment, and it replaces it with compassion and gentleness. It supports the release of emotional pain stored deep within the body and aura, creating space for renewal. It connects with motherly, goddess-like love, offering comfort and protection to the inner child. Balances giving and receiving love, healing those who overextend themselves, and teaching receptivity. It awakens the understanding that love is not weakness, but divine strength. It expands the heart chakra, aligning you with higher frequencies of forgiveness, compassion, and empathy. It transmutes heavy, anxious, or fearful emotions into a calm, steady flow, and helps sensitive souls feel safe, especially in environments that feel harsh or overwhelming. It encourages playfulness, lightheartedness, and joy as a spiritual practice, and reawakens enthusiasm for life after periods of difficulty, rekindling hope. And the card that you chose, Nasturtium, I believe is how you say it. It's bright orange, yellow, red blossoms, and its flower essence restores vital energy. Its essence infuses warmth and circulation into the body and spirit. It helps when life feels drained, over mental, or stuck in the head. It brings you back into the present moment with playfulness and color. A reminder that the sacred is not only in the heavens, but also in the vibrancy of daily life. It's especially supportive when you've been living in the intellect, the mind at the expense of the body, like overthinking. It gently calls scattered thoughts back into harmony with embodied wisdom. Its fiery blossoms awaken artistic inspiration, courage, and bold expression, perfect for those birthing projects or reclaiming confidence. It opens the heart to warmth and companionship, easing isolation or emotional coldness. And it's connected to your solar plexus and sacral chakra. It's interesting. It's connected to the element of fire, where pink tourmaline is connected to the element of water. So we have a nice balance there. And my spirit guides want me to remind you that when I'm talking about the flower essence, that is very specific process in getting spiritual energy from a plant. You can look that up, flower essence. That's different than just taking the flower and boiling it and drinking it like a tea or any parts of it. You want to be very safe in working with plants. And flower essences, you usually only take, 3, 4, 5 drops, maybe just 3 drops in the beginning. And it's very the parts of the flower per the parts of whatever liquid they're suspended in is minimal, and it's a safer way to try to connect to a plant without knowing if you may have any kind of reaction, because we're all different and we all have different reactions to different foods and different plants. All right, let's find out more about this balancing of overthinking. All right, we have the Prince of Jars. I'm just balancing of overthinking. I feel that maybe anxiety is something that you may struggle with, which sometimes can cause a little overthinking. And that overthinking can cause, whoops. That was too many. But I am going to take the Magician since it revealed itself to you. I'll put the rest of these back. All right, make sure that they're all facing down. Let's get one more card. The Seven of Jars. That makes sense. All right. Right. The Prince of Jars is like the Knight of Cups. And the question we're asking is, how to calm anxiety and overthinking. So there's a message of emotional flow instead of mental loops. Anxiety often builds when emotions are dammed up and the mind tries to control them. The Prince of Jars invites you to let feelings flow like honey, slowly, steadily, and with sweetness, instead of bottling them up or overanalyzing them. The prince moves through the world, guided by love, art, and emotional sensitivity. When overthinking happens, turn towards beauty, music, poetry, water, flowers, or meaningful conversation. So not conversation where you're pouring out your anxieties, your analysis paralysis out loud to somebody else, but where you're talking about the cosmos and philosophies and things that excite you. You want to raise your vibration, not go deeper into it. And so shifting out of that analysis paralysis, that overthinking, that it's a fear that you're trying to gain control over by thinking your way out of it and maybe even trying to control a situation. And so instead, if you like the Prince of Jars, moves through the world guided by love and art and emotional sensitivity, if you turn towards the beauty of music and poetry and water and flowers and uh, maybe stories, reading something, that's going to restore the harmony to the heart and calm that buzzing mind. And having compassion. Compassion is medicine. So anxiety often criticizes or pressures you. It's feeling like you need to act and you need to do something. The Prince of Jars teaches you to meet yourself with gentleness, like offering honey to your own spirit. I see you, I soothe you, I love you anyway. And use your imagination for healing. Instead of letting your imagination spin out of control into all these possible negative scenarios, which is where that fear and anxiety is coming from, redirect it into visualizing positive scenarios, calming places, sacred symbols. Your future self is already at peace. So tapping into that. And the prince transforms imagination into medicine. So it's like when we're anxious, our imagination is working against us, but we control our mind and what we choose to think about, which is why music and poetry and stories that are positive and uplifting can help shift that. But you can also, in that moment, if you think, what if this bad thing happens? If you catch it and you think, well, what if it works out better than I even imagined? What if this is happening so that the universe can show me something I hadn't even thought of? So using your imagination for the best. And if it helps you to think of concrete things, then think of concrete things. The magician is how you can restore your energy. You know, all this overthinking and anxiety can be very draining. And remembering that energy doesn't come from you alone or from force, it's something that you can channel. It flows when you open to be the bridge between spirit above and the earth below. The magician reminds you that exhaustion often comes from disconnection, not true depletion. You're disconnected from spirit, which causes that overthinking, that analysis paralysis, puts you in fear state. Because if you were truly connected to spirit, and of course we're always connected, it's just like we have our back turned to it, or we're not quite tuned in on the dial to it clearly. That's when we start experiencing fear of what could go wrong. Because if we were truly connected, we would trust that nothing's going to go wrong. Everything's going to work out. And the magician's table has 4 tools that represent earth, air, water, and fire. And fire is the passion, creativity, movement. Vital energy rises when you engage in what sparks you, what ignites your inner fire, what excites you. Water is your emotions, but it's also rest and nourishment. Energy is restored by honoring feelings, staying hydrated literally and spiritually. And air is thoughts, clarity of thought, cutting through mental clutter, restores focus and peace. Earth is body, your physical body, food, grounding. Energy is nourished by nature, ritual, and physical care. So, alignment of all of those elements. It is not about doing more, it's about aligning more. Aligning to spirit, aligning to your higher purpose, to your higher self. Energy multiplies when your actions, your desires, and your spirit move in the same direction. So, exercise, dance, create. That's the fire energy. Take baths, drink warm tea, allow yourself to rest and emotional release. That's the water energy. Journal, declutter your thoughts. That's the air energy. Eat healthy foods. Ground yourself outdoors in nature's. That's the earth energy. So these little micro acts of magic, even the smallest ritual of lighting a candle, blessing your water, standing on the ground barefoot outside, earthing, all of those little micro acts of magic reactivate your life force, and they're going to make it easier for you to shift out of this overthinking and redirect your imagination. So if you're indoors and you're stressed out and you're thinking about the worst case scenarios and you're having trouble shifting your imagination to what could go right, then try stepping outside and standing on the ground barefoot and try again. Face the sun with your eyes closed. Let the sun go through your eyelids and try again to redirect your imagination, and it'll be a little bit easier that way. In fact, I think it'll be a lot easier. All right, and if you follow the guidance of the Prince of Jars and the Magician, what you will heal is the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Jars in this suit. Basically, it's having too many choices, right? That's that analysis paralysis. It could be too much fantasy or fog or indecision. By following the Prince of Jars, heart-led flow, and the Magician focused channel, you heal that feeling of being overwhelmed by options and you reclaim clarity. And anxiety, exhaustion often tempt us into daydreaming or avoidance. And with the Magician's focus and the Prince's emotional honesty, you heal the tendency to hide in illusions and instead face what is real with compassion. The Seven of Jars can carry the weight of too many emotional containers left unprocessed, and you heal by pouring them out gently through ritual, journaling, dance, movement, art, singing, heart-led expression. So you won't feel as overwhelmed, as confused. You'll have more clarity. You'll have more vitality. The Magician helps you choose one jar. the creation, the dream, or the path that is true, the right one. You restore clear sight of what matters most and brings alignment of heart and action. Instead of being scattered among daydreams, your heart, the Prince of Jars, and your will, the Magician, align, and what you imagine becomes possible to manifest. This is sacred imagination. Not every dream is meant to be acted upon, but all are sacred. You restore the joy of dreaming while also knowing how to separate vision from illusion. With the jars in balance, you restore emotional steadiness. Your imagination becomes a source of beauty, not chaos, and it's an ally. It's working for you. It's like you're cultivating this new relationship between you and your imagination, and it becomes this ally that brings you clarity and focus and opens the door to new possibilities. I love it. If you hear noise in the background, that is Cora, who just came over. And she is full of energy. So there you go. There's your vitality returned as Cora. All right, reading number 2. I hope that this resonates. I'm wishing you the best. I see a lot of clarity and creativity in your future. Please let me know how this resonates. I love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 2 or 3. All right. Yellow citrine. It's vitality and life force. It fills your aura with warmth and golden light like sunlight flowing into your being. It strengthens your physical vitality and helps overcome fatigue, restoring zest for life. Long known as the merchant's stone, citrine aligns you with prosperity, success, and opportunity. It helps shift from scarcity to abundance mindset, teaching you that your creative energy is your greatest wealth. It restores confidence and personal power. It resonates with the solar plexus chakra, empowering will, courage, and clarity of direction, dissolves self-doubt, fear, and hesitancy so you can take action with conviction. And it elevates joy and emotional balance, transmuting heaviness, depression, or anxiety into lightness and optimism. It encourages play, laughter, and the simple enjoyment of being alive. It is a spiritual cleanser. Citrine never holds negative energy. It dissipates and transmutes it. It keeps your field light, clear, and free from the energetic debris of others. And the card that you chose, the flower false indigo, its flower essence strengthens the core of your being, helping you endure difficulties with grace. It's often called upon for those who feel fragile or depleted, restoring inner solidity. And it helps to align yourself with your purpose. It brings harmony between your inner truth and your outer actions. Helps you walk your path with confidence and without bending under external pressure. It creates a strong energetic boundary, much like its deep taproot anchors it into the soil. It supports sensitive souls in feeling safe while remaining open to spiritual guidance. It strengthens your spiritual vision and intuition, The indigo vibration awakens the third eye, heightening intuition, inner sight, and perception of subtle realities. It supports discernment, seeing through illusion and recognizing what is true essence. And it heals fragmentation. False indigo flower essence has a gift for drawing scattered parts of self back into wholeness, especially helpful after times of trauma, confusion, or just feeling split between too many directions. All right, let's find out more about that. King of Pentacles. Eight of Jars. Eight of Swords. All right. The King of Pentacles says, return to the earth, return to your body, anchor there, and all lost pieces will find their way back. Fragmentation often comes from being pulled in too many directions, whether it's emotionally, mentally, energetically, or a combination of all of those. So returning to your body and to nature, to earth, this is going to be key in drawing back, calling back those fragmented parts. The king is a master of resources, as are bees, not only of material, but also spiritual and ancestral. He encourages you to draw back your fragments by reconnecting with what sustained you. Rituals of nourishment, food, herbs, flower essences, touch, massage, rest, hugs, and safe, stable routines that make you feel protected. Waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time if you can, eating your meals at the same time. This makes the body feel safe because it knows what to expect. And ancestral or family lineages that ground you in belonging. So connecting to your ancestors or passed on loved ones, energies that are directly tied to you that want to help you, that are there for your highest and best good. And your pieces return when you are present in your body. So using your senses, smelling things, feeling things, looking at things mindfully, standing barefoot on the ground, breathing deeply, making things with your hands, cooking with your hands, working in your garden. All of these simple acts restore you more than any kind of fancy striving, work. Just those simple acts. And they connect you to your ancestors as well. The King of Pentacles embodies sovereignty. He does not chase his fragments. He creates such a steady, fertile, energetic field that they choose to return. Just like bees return to the hive, right? They choose to. Think of your parts as these bees, and you're that hive, that home, calling them home to be with all the other parts. Standing firmly in your values, you call all aspects of yourself back into the hive, into the circle. You can sit with your feet flat on the ground and imagine roots growing from your spine into the soil. You can place coins like pentacles, right? Or stones or seeds in a circle around you, representing the parts of yourself scattered across time and space. And then create a little invocation, magical ritual. Say something like, by earth and bone, by root and stone, all parts of me are welcome home. And one by one, bring the stones, the seeds, the coins, whatever you used, inward, placing them into your lap or your heart center, and feel each fragment rejoining you. The Eight of Swords is, once you bring that back, we have to do a little maintenance, right? Just like citrine can disperse and transmute negative energy or dissipate it, you can too. So, first, by realizing that it's not something that binds us through true power, but through the illusion of power. So a lot of negative energy is like fog. It doesn't have sustenance, even though it looks imposing. It dissipates once you see clearly. The first step is to recognize that it doesn't own you. You have the power to shift it. Cut the cords of fear. The swords represent thoughts, beliefs, words. Use your mental clarity to cut through fear and self-doubt with affirmations, mantras, even visualizing a sword of light severing cords helps dissolve the energy. You don't even have to know what those cords are attached to. The Eight of Swords shows stillness, entrapment, and to transmute. You want to move. You want to shake your body, breathe deeply, dance, go for a walk, walk outside. Negative energy disperses when the body shifts and life force circulates. And exhale what feels heavy. Inhale golden light. When you take a shower, visualize that you are washing away what's not yours, washing away any heaviness, standing on the earth and absorbing the positive energy of the earth, so that, like the King of Pentacles, nothing negative takes residence in your energy field. Only what belongs there does. And, you can even burn some incense or sage, smudge. Hold yellow citrine close to you to help disperse that negative energy that's not yours. And the 8 of Jars is how you restore your confidence, your vitality, your joy. It's leaving behind what is empty, false, or draining in order to walk towards what restores your soul. Your confidence, vitality, and joy return when you cut those cords and release what no longer feeds your spirit, and you step fully towards what does. So letting go makes space. Confidence can't thrive in soil where self-doubt and old patterns choke it. Joy can't blossom in spaces where your spirit feels trapped. The 8 of Jars asks you to lovingly set down the jars that no longer hold sweetness, and trust that new honey will come. Just like the King of Pentacles. This is a sacred journey. We see a figure walking away, not in defeat, but in initiation. You restore vitality by choosing yourself, walking away from what drains you and towards what calls your soul, even if you can't see the destination yet. This is emotional integrity. Joy returns when you are emotionally honest with yourself, admitting what doesn't work, where you've outgrown situations, and what your heart truly longs for. And you can help empty the jars by writing it out. Journal or ritually write down situations, habits, relationships that no longer bring sweetness, and release them. You can have a little ritual and burn them safely, or tear it up and release it to water. If you have ink that is water soluble and you put it in a bowl of water, you'll see those words disappear, which can be a really great ritual. And follow the pull of curiosity, right? What's outside this door? The 8 of Jars teaches you don't need to know the full plan. Just have the courage to follow what calls. Confidence grows each time you answer that call. And if you want to, you could actually keep an actual jar and fill it with slips of paper, naming small things that make you feel alive, strong, playful, or radiant. And each week, draw one out and do it. Reading number 3. I'm so excited for you. This feels very liberating, very powerful. And I really see joy, vitality, empowerment, and confidence leveling up in your life, returning if you feel like any of those have been absent, increasing if you feel like you already have it. Please let me know if this resonates. I love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye.